Well, good morning, everyone. Let's see here. It's Monday, March 31st, 2025. And we are just getting fired up for this Monday morning. See if the guys are here. Well, I think we have the real Alex here.
Morning, real Sam.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just seeing I think we have James here too. Let's see. Here we go. All right. There we go. So tell me, Alex, how was your weekend?
It was grand, sir.
Anything out of the ordinary?
No, just the same old hashtag country life.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, you were on one on Saturday.
Hey, man, it was Saturday.
I know.
We're so serious all week. It's okay to cut up and enjoy. I think Saturdays should be a bring the fans up, be silly day.
All right, I think we could do that. I had there were so many comments about it over the weekend. It just cracked me up.
Well, do share.
Let's see here. I'm trying to get. Bear with me a second. I'm trying to split my screen so that I can see everything. And I got to flip the camera. Hold on, James, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I got the screen flipped now. All right. Well, let's see what we got going here, guys. We have Wendy's here this morning. 6U is here. Chris Romano is here. King's Girl 1974. Share Baby 29. One of our subscribers is here. Scratch 65. Another one of our subscribers is here. Good morning, everyone. So, all right. So let's start off this. What have we seen? What's on the top of the table? Top of the mind this morning, Alex.
$3,132.60 an ounce.
Wow.
What?
Wow. God, I just have to think that that's going to lead into something with the stock market.
I mean, all indices are down. S&P down 100, Dow down 700, NASDAQ down almost 500, crude oil's down to 69.30, gold is up. I mean, it's just, wow.
Wow is right. Wow is right.
I can give you guys are familiar with Autopilot?
31.49.90.
What's that?
31.49.90. It just jumped.
What is?
Gold. $3,149.90.
Wow. James,
all-time high after all-time high after all-time high.
James, what were you saying?
Are you guys familiar with the app called Autopilot?
No.
Yes.
Autopilot is an app that watches kind of a bird dog of all politicians and when they sell off and when they buy.
Okay.
There's one Miss Pelosi that had a major dump this morning, like almost all of it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Well, if that doesn't tell you what's happening, I mean, it kind of is congruent with the price of gold with the activity that Alex is seeing.
Wow.
Pretty good indicator.
Well, we've been waiting for something significant to happen. I'm wondering if this is it. I've thought it before, and I've been wrong before. So I don't know what to make of it at this point. We have Mr. Fantastic here. Valerie James is here. Our Jeff Code is here. Good morning, everyone. So I wanted to lead off. So we got the stock market. We've got crude oil. What about crypto? What's it looking like, Alex?
Everything's down. Bitcoin's up 1%. XRP down 1%. It's kind of a mixed bag. No major movements. Bitcoin's sitting at 83,693. XRP 213, Solana 127, Tether, Dogecoin down, Cardano down. So it's kind of mix and match. Stellar XLM is up a fraction of a percent. So, I mean, it's just something's coming, Sam. I just feel it in my gut. Something's coming.
We've been saying it for a long time, and then let's not forget, tomorrow is Liberation Day. Maybe it's all gonna be a confluence at one day. I don't know. Well, apparently, Share Baby said that she had a blast on Saturday, so I guess that's going to be the new drill on Saturdays, everybody.
We run out of filters.
Bees is here. We have Dana Mackey's here. Christy B is here. Good morning. Our Jeff Cook said the Canada Salvation Army story was so funny. Oh, it just cracked me up. Did you guys see that this morning?
Yeah.
I just couldn't help myself.
Just for reference, we have hit 3160 as today's all-time high, reaching gold's all-time high.
Wow. So just for anybody who hasn't seen the Daily Dispatch yet, and for those of you who are new, hit the follow button on TikTok. I do a Daily Dispatch 6 days a week, bullet points on what's going on in the news. But today, I just couldn't help myself. Nick Sortor on X came out and he said, in terms of Canada being the 51st state, he said he showed a picture of the military from Canada, and they were marching, and it was ridiculous, the marching they were doing. But he said the U.S. could literally send in the Salvation Army and take all of Canada in a few hours. It just cracked me up, man. I couldn't help but share it with everybody today. All right, so let's see here. All right, so here, oops. Oh, shoot. All right, this whole screen sharing thing on my computer isn't going to work too well. Hold on, everybody. I got to get a second
Morning,
monitor.
Dave.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, guys.
Hey, Dave.
Don't fire your IT guy, okay?
Morning.
Oh, it has nothing to do with him. This is all my fault.
Operator error.
Operator error is
Operator
exactly
error.
right. All right, there we go. Now I'm back
I'll
on
be
top.
right back, guys.
Okay. So Richard Ennis is here as well. So Dave, tell me what was happening, what's top of mind for you this morning?
Nothing. Beautiful. Just getting pointed in the direction on the farming deal and out and about running errands and picking up parts and prepping.
Yeah.
So
What's the big thing that's coming up for you?
Good. Yep.
What's the big thing that's coming
we're
up?
planting. We got April 10th we can start planting corn, and April 15th our insurance allowed us on the 15th. So for soybeans. So.
Oh, gotcha. So James, you look like you are in serious mode over there today.
There's a lot going on in the world between the arrest warrants. It's apparently that Pam Bondi's issued some arrest warrants for Hillary, and I don't really know about that whole theater. I thought that Hillary had already taken a ride down to Gitmo, but apparently I'm wrong. A lot of things are happening with people being shadow banned. It seems to be, if you're on the right side of the fence, they seem to be taking away your ability to share or go live. A lot of troubles there. A lot of trouble people about that.
Well, in terms of Hillary, here's my theory.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
No, and I agree. I agree with that. Lots going on. The U.S. Bank, one of the vice president for U.S. Bank, airplane accident in Minneapolis. So I think we'll see a lot of banking issues coming up too in that sense. So
Right. Well, in terms of the Hillary thing, James, here's my thoughts on it. She may have already been dealt with behind the scenes, and now it's a matter of rolling it out to the public. Because as we talked about, this is a phased rollout, and you can't just blurt it all out at once. People would flip out. So maybe she has been taken care of. Maybe this is merely theater to bring people up to speed on things that have already happened. Now, I have no receipts. I can't prove it. But, Alex, you had sent me a video this morning about Pam Bondi issuing arrest warrants for Hillary Clinton. And who was the other person?
Crap, I don't remember, Sam.
Yeah.
Probably Jasmine Crockett.
I don't remember who it was now, but the fact that it's come.
The reporter brought up, again, the operation leaks and this and that and the other. And Pam Bondi's like, well, we're going to talk about leaking documents and bleach pit, you know. Anyway, it was an interesting blurb, but Bondi's she's a no mess around kind of gal. So
Well, I agree 100%. And again, we'll have to see how it plays out, but it was Rick that brought that up in the chat. Hey, Traveler's here. Good morning, Traveler. Susie Kabloozy's here. Hi, Susie. She said, please faux Hillary. I don't know what that means, but probably a mistype. So one of the first stories I want to dig into, besides the Pam Bondi thing, is President Trump came out with a post yesterday that I thought was really interesting. And he said that there is a tree on the White House property that was planted by Andrew Jackson, and that it was ill or wasn't doing well, and they were going to remove it. And it was a magnolia tree, and that they were going to save the wood to be utilized at the White House in some form or fashion, and they were going to plant another tree in its place. What do you guys make of that? I for some reason, I feel there's a calm there, but I don't know what it is. Some sort of communication, but I'm just not sure. Dave, what do you think?
I would say out with the old and in with the new, I'd say. Would be my guesstimate.
Kind of like an overall generalization.
Mm-hmm.
James, what do you think?
You know, Sam, I really don't know. I watched your daily dispatch this morning, and I thought about that. I haven't had time to dig into that particular why or how. I think there's a message, just not sure what.
Yeah,
Alex probably has a way better idea than I do.
Yeah, Alex, what are your thoughts on it?
out with the old and with the new. This again, it goes back to the situation that we're getting hindsight's 2020, right? And the further down this road we get, we're gonna look back and go, oh, yeah. So it makes sense of it right now. I'm just popping more popcorn and cruising along for the ride, man.
Well, sorry guys, I just blew up my.
Right.
Hold on, I'm trying to adjust the lights here. I think I just screwed it up. Bear with me here.
We can still see you.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the hell.
Now we got the nightclub vibe going.
Yeah, I know. Now we have the sun. Hold on.
I kind of like that. What
You're gonna have to put
New Earth Band says, new monetary.
lighting.
There we go. Hold on. Well, I got this. Yeah, my nephew buffed me out with all this new lighting, and it's all remote control, and I'm having a hell of a time with it. All right. Well,
You know, when you think about the tree deal, is like, do you think it'd be worth the time right now, as busy as everything is, that Trump's going to talk about a tree? You know,
well,
I would think
and
that'd be the bottom of it if it wasn't.
well, and that's the thing, you guys. In fact, Alex, will you pull up Magnolia Tree and see if there's anything that catches your eye? Because he called it out specifically as a magnolia tree. And I just don't know what to make of it.
We have a magnolia tree in the backyard.
Thomas. Yeah, and Thomas Jefferson related to it. It'd be interesting. I'm sure there's some calm.
Magnolia trees are among the oldest flowering plants, with fossil records dating back over 95 million years. They existed before, let's see, was named in honor of the French botanist Pierre Mongolia in the 18th century. Significant cultural symbolism in various religions, particularly in southern United States.
Well, here's some suggestions in the chat. Scratch 65 said the Trump tree. Susie Kabloozy said she can't type today. King's Girl 1974 said lynching tree Interesting. Users.
Magnolia. What? I don't know about that one.
I don't know. User said replacing someone. I don't know. Donna Fox. Good morning, Donna. Dana Mackey said Tree of Liberty.
Be careful of the words you use on here. Remember that.
I know. New Earthman said new monetary system.
TikTok shop.
Charlie said Andrew Jackson and money. I don't know. Rich said absolutely the rear view mirror is definitely 2020, which I agree 100%. Hey, you guys want to get rid of this one thing in the chat here? I'll do it. Let's see here. All right. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but for some reason it just caught my attention. Daddy D said, why did he plant a tree? Well, he hasn't planted it yet. He's saying he's going to take out an old one that Andrew Jackson planted because it was terrible. And that was the word he used, terrible. And he's going to replace it with something else. But he further went on to say that the wood from that tree would be used in the White House in some significant way. I don't know what to make of it, but I just found I thought it was interesting.
Because magnolia trees are not just ornamental additions to your landscape, but they are also living symbols of elegance and resilience.
Oh, interesting. I wonder.
Something that Andrew Jackson, is there anything that Andrew Jackson himself had implemented or known for that monetary or something like that?
Well, isn't Andrew Jackson the president that President Trump has hanging in the Oval Office, who got rid of the banking, the central bank?
Okay, so
well, that would make sense.
Okay, the Andrew Jackson tree is the Mongolian tree. White House to remove Mongolia tree dating back to Andrew Jackson.
Mongolia or Magnolia?
I'm sorry, Magnolia.
Okay. And
Bluesy can't type and I can't talk.
Well, and isn't it Andrew Jackson that Trump has hanging in the Oval Office who did away with the first central bank or the second?
Correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, so maybe it does have something to do with the monetary system.
Yeah.
Huh. PJUS said movie The Steel Magnolias. I don't know what that movie was about.
What? Sam, you're fired.
I know. But I do take direction well. When I didn't know The Fifth Element, I went and watched it. You will
enjoy Steel Magnolias much more than The Fifth Element, and Miss Wheezy is.
Okay.
Wheezy. Anyway.
Wendy said that it was planted in honor of Jackson's wife who died. Oh, and Susie Kabluzzi just fired me. Thanks a lot, Susie. What do I need to do to get rehired? Shelly Brinney Noon said, I've always gifted a magnolia tree to all my friends that has had parents that have passed away. 80 Deuce Cav, who's here. Good morning, 80 Deuce. Signifies hope and renewal. That makes more sense. Mama Bear's here. Good morning, Mama Bear. Yeah, so I don't know.
Could be the next walking tall stick.
That could be, yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. Senator Ted Cruz comes out over the weekend and said that Elizabeth Warren and China hate Bitcoin because government can't control it. Now we're also seeing Larry Fink coming out talking about Bitcoin being the threat to the US dollar being the world's reserve currency. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Bitcoin. I don't know. What do you guys make of that? Dave?
Yeah, I seen all that over the weekend. It makes you, and keying it up again. You know, it's almost like when they talk about Fort Knox and went away with it.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure there's something meaning of it. April 2nd is just around the corner here now, so.
Tomorrow.
Not much longer.
No, day after tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, well, tomorrow's the 1st, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what
48 hours or so, we'll know more.
That's
so
what
we have 48 hours to get Sam to 250,000 followers. And I'll sweeten the pot. He'll get a tattoo, and I will buzz off the beard.
Oh, that's a deal.
I want to recognize you.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So, hey, James, what are your thoughts on that statement from Ted Cruz on Bitcoin?
Well, I agree with a couple of comments that just came through the chat. I believe, well, you take a look at the companies. There's a lot of companies investing now. A lot of gold is talked about being traded in for the U.S. government, so we can build our reserve with that money. That's, I've got to stay neutral here because I really don't know what's going to take place. But if you're pulling money out of the stock market, the best place to put it is Bitcoin or crypto. Period.
Yeah.
Financial advice. Buy it on the TikTok shop. Just our personal opinions.
Right. Exactly. Tranny 2's here. Hey, Tranny 2. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of it, but with the confluence of the stock market taking a hit, you have gold going through the roof, you have Bitcoin kind of fluctuating, kind of staying at the same level. Something's up, and it sure seems like it's something now.
Repeat his statement, Sam.
Which one?
The news article.
Oh, he said that Elizabeth Warren. Let me see here. I've got to find it. I deleted it. Hold on one second. Let's see here. Oh, I can't. I don't think I can pull it up, Alex. I've got.
So the people that are squealing are the people that are stealing, right?
Right.
And this is not new for them to dismiss or put off or attack this emerging technology. It's personal opinion, not financial advice. Again, right? It's the long game, and I think that they being the people that want to consolidate power and money, will probably tank every single market they can possibly tank as quickly as they can do it, if they can do it, right? Whether that's whales coming in and driving price down with super large sales, which we know they can do from one whale to another, which you can affect the price, in an effort to push people out so they can buy in dirt cheap, right? Because they're protecting themselves.
Right. It makes sense. Yeah. Wendy said, we love the TikTok shop. Exactly, Wendy. Yeah, so I don't know what to make of it at this point, other than I am, as everyone here knows, I am a proponent of Bitcoin. I'm a proponent of some cryptocurrency, not all of it, certainly not meme coins, but well, it's going to play into it here somehow. It sure seems like to me. What's the stock market at now, Alex? Is it fluctuated at all?
We're down. It's a down day. I mean, the day's got some more hours left to go, but let's see, it's still where it was when we opened the show.
Okay. Hey, Miner just became a subscriber. Welcome, Miner.
It's not going to move much up in the next couple days before the April 2nd decisions to see. Everybody's going to be apprehensive to do anything. So. Right.
I agree. So what do you guys make of apparently Putin's limousine was torched and exploded in Moscow over the weekend? Do you think that there's an active threat against him, or do you think it's all theater?
I think, of course, there's active threats. I mean, Orange Man bad, best friend in Russia bad.
Wouldn't you think, though, that him being the figurehead in Russia, don't you think he would be just as protected as President Trump here, or close to it?
Oh, I'm sure. Hence it not getting him. But if we look at the big picture, in my opinion, again, you have a group of people who have come together and said, enough is enough of the old narrative. And that backs a lot of dogs into the corner, and those dogs are super scared. We've said it a bunch of times on the show. A mean dog, you can look at a dog's eyes and know exactly where it's going to bite, but a scared dog, you have no idea what it's going to do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so right on the heels of Tulsi Gabbard over the weekend saying Adam Schiff and John Brennan are domestic enemies, then we have Pam Bondi coming out today. I mean, something's up, you guys.
What?
I know.
I literally let out a squeal through the whole house. Mom was like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "Mom, guess what?" Anyway.
Hey, by the way, how is mom? How is mom?
She's resting comfortably right now.
Good. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this confluence. You got April 2nd coming up in a couple days, the Liberation Day. You've got the stock market tanking, crypto in the middle. You've got Pam Bondi making explosive statements, Tulsi Gabbard making explosive statements. Something's up, you guys. All I can say is you better make sure that we have those tray tables and seat backs in their up and locked position.
Well, I mean, he keeps saying I couldn't do it on April 1st because it's April Fool's Day. Like, okay, so let's say April 1st rolls around and there is all this information that dumps out. Well, half of it would be dismissed very quickly by the mainstream media as, oh, a hoax today, April 1st, they came out and they said, blah, 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 got arrested, blah, 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 is on the terrorist list, blah, 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 this, blah, blah. It's a joke, right? So what? I'm getting a little, I really hope this is not a nothing burger. I really hope this is not a nothing burger and just tariffs. And I said that last week. I think Liberation Day is going to end up being just about tariffs. But there's that nerd side of me that's like, maybe it's go time.
Well, and if we look back, you guys, I believe that there's a possibility that President Trump didn't actually step down when he said he did. He could have stepped down in April. The Insurrection Act could have been signed. And if, in fact, that is true, that would mean that April 2nd would be a significant day. If we are in continuity of government, if we are in devolution, that would be a significant day to do something big, whatever that might be.
General Flynn posted 2 hours ago, and I haven't had a chance to watch. It's a video from one of the whistleblowers, and he said to all those not in all caps, not paying attention, this video will briefly describe a case that has been filed for years now. If the DOJ jumps on this one, it could bring down one of the darkest kingdoms to its knees and help save America. Seriously. And he's talking about the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, that's another big one. I mean, I think when that comes out, it's going to make Watergate look like a puppy show. And if
he talked about in another video. He said they have to be held accountable. They have to be. Right.
For all of us who've been in this fight for as long as we have, we've been waiting for that. Now, is this it? Pam Bondi coming out? Those are some strong words. I don't know what to expect, but it could very well be. Let me do a little sponsorship note here, you guys. So everybody, Mike Lindell has been great to me. He started sponsoring me a month after I started my podcast, and he will be coming on the show soon. I'm in contact with corporate. I'm not sure what day yet, but if you would like to support someone like Mike Lindell, who is a patriot, who is working to save America and the Constitution, go to mypillow.com, use the discount code SAM, and not only will you be helping this channel, but you'll be helping Mike as well, and MyPillow, and I dare say helping America. And one of our other sponsors is Neil Naturopathic. It's the only chemical-free, organic hair products on the market today. So if you go to samshalhoub.com, look for the hair products button, use the code SAM20, and you'll get 20% off. And I would encourage everyone to do that. And then finally, Dr. Peter Glidden, who is a man among men. He is a naturopathic doctor. He has a website that will answer just about any question you have when it comes to health and wellness. And he also has a new book out. So if you go to samshalhoub.com, you can look for either one of those buttons. Give him some support. He's a good man. He's doing the right thing, and he has been for decades. But those are the three: My Pillow, Neil Naturopathic, and Dr. Glidden. All right. So let's see what we've got here now. Oh, ABC News talking about Iran rejecting Trump's request for direct nuclear negotiations, according to their state media. Now, I have a theory that the Houthis that we've been bombing, allegedly, is really just another arm of Iran. Excuse me. And if that's the case, I think President Trump and team have been targeting them and highlighting them for a specific reason. Now, what are your thoughts, Alex?
I think there's absolutely evidence to support targeting for a reason.
Right. And I mean, Trump is making such a big thing about the Houthis. They're not that big of a band of people. Now, if they're backed by Iran and that's really what's going on, that would make a whole lot more sense to me.
Well, if you see the videos of what they're doing with the boats and disrupting shipping lanes, and look at history, like Trump put them on the list, Biden took them off the list, Trump put them right back on the list. And in the spirit of transparency we keep talking about, they're following the dollars, and it will take you back to a particular country that a particular three-letter agency initiated a coup to put the current administration in place. It's all of these little frayed strings are all going to come back together to make a rope to support what's gonna. I gotta be careful what I say. It's coming.
Yeah, exactly. James, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's we have to think about what's going on out there as far as military movement. I think when you have two major carrier groups, strike groups heading that direction, they're in the region. You have a bunch of security clearances revoked, and not just one or two, but many, dozens. They're not going to get tipped off. I think that gives our military the edge, and that's why we did revoke those security clearances. Going forward, I think we're beefing up. It's coming.
Well, there is a lot of talk about World War III all over the place, and it's been ratcheting up over the last several weeks. So you could be right. There may be a catalyzing event. What's that, Alex?
Of course there is. Like that is the deep state's money generating machine. The war machine, folks, has been go back and look at each and every single one of the events in the past that have had World War attached to it, and some others. What was the catalyzing event that sparked those scenarios? What is the truth about those catalyzing events that we now know hindsight, right? I think the false flag alert system is blaring sirens all across the globe right now. Like there is a real potential for the scared dog to lash out and bite.
I agree. It's interesting. Dave over at News Treason does an open mic night live on Fridays, and I was listening to it this morning on recording, and he was talking about the things that we've talked about, the different levels of being awake, and you have the people that are the normies, and then you have the MAGA normies, and then you have the Anons, and then within that mix is the spiritual portion of this. It is an awakening. There is spiritual things taking place. And one of his callers had suggested that there has to be some sort of a catalyzing event that brings those three, what they call timelines, together. And I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be an event or if it's going to be something that plays out over time. But I think those different levels of being awake have to be brought together in order to get to the next level. What are your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, well, that's what it's going to take, right? That was the plan on the other website or the other thing, describing that everybody has to learn. It's a learning process, so we don't go to war amongst ourselves.
Right. James?
I revert back to where I was at with the revocation of these security clearances. I mean, it's got to start sometime, but all these things are lining up. All the arrows are pointing to war.
Right. Alex?
So, and this is where those of us that have some critical thinking skills and have been in this fight for a while will need to practice extreme discernment in the information that comes out, because let's say there is some sort of nuclear event, right? Like something happens, dirty bomb in a city, or God forbid, something like that happens. I don't think that that's going to happen for no reason. And when I say that, what happens when they find the suitcase and it was a great big scare and it didn't go off, but they open up the suitcase and they find out that the radioisotopes are linked back to the uranium, because all nuclear materials have a for the lack of a better term, an identifying serial number, right? Like they can identify isotopes and know exactly where it came from. And what happens when those nuclear isotopes are traced back to, I don't know, Hillary Clinton and the uranium-1 deal?
Right, exactly.
So if something does happen, we need to not panic. We need to not rush to judgment that the first news story that pops out on the news, we found weapons of mass destruction, which we didn't. Like we got to just remain calm, stick together, and see what 72-hour rule, because nothing comes out on mainstream media anymore that the good-hearted American people that are citizen journalists either verify or debunk very, very quickly. So we're just going to have to be patient and see how it all plays out, if, God forbid, something like that happens.
Right. I agree. And I think those are words of wisdom. We don't want to jump to conclusions. We need to take a deep breath. If, in fact, something like that does take place, I believe that the Patriots are in control. Now, maybe not at a micro level, but at a macro level. So are there contingency plans in place? If we talk about that other board that we talk about a lot, it's very clear that there are contingency plans in place. Now, does that mean that there's not going to be kerfuffles at certain places or uprisings or what? No, it doesn't mean that. But what it means is that the overall context is under control. But again, you could have something that flips out there. You just don't know. And that leads us into the next story. There has been a lot of chatter about President Trump being in office to 2037, about President Trump running for office again in 2028. Steve Bannon came out last week and said he's supporting President Trump for office in 2028. And then you have President Trump himself coming out yesterday and saying that he is considering a third term. Now, according to the Constitution, a president can only serve up to 10 years because of the 22nd Amendment. Could they change that amendment? Could they get rid of that amendment? If we are in continuity of government or devolution, do the constraints of the Constitution apply? And I would argue that the Constitution may have been suspended at this point. Now, there's no way to prove that. This is just speculation on my part. But I think there's something that we need to look at that. I don't think the narrative being so pervasive about President Trump running for more office time would be out there unless there's a reason for it. And for President Trump to come out and say, yes, I'm not joking, I'm talking about a third term. Well, what happens when 2020 is exposed? we are in a constitutional crisis. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I would love to hear what you think, Alex.
All this chatter about him running again certainly feeds a narrative on the left. Great big helpings of, he's a dictator and blah, 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 blah. But if you really dig into when the 22nd Amendment was put in place, why it was put in place, and again, there's no way for us to know how all of these pieces are going to fall into place when he is extremely outspoken right now about everything that has gone on, starting clear back to 2015 when he announced he was going to run, and the declassification of Crossfire Hurricane, and all of these pieces moving forward. What does it mean if the administration that he took over for in 2016 comes to light that maybe that wasn't necessarily a legitimate, like, holy crap, dude. What a twisted web to try to untangle. And I think I go back to this. The only way that we get through all of these things is with transparency. I mean, stay on top of what's being released at vault.fbi.gov. Like, they just released the Richard Pryor files. I won't go into all that, but go do a little search on history and look at who's connected to who and what they were saying and what they were pushing. And it's, man, certainly an interesting time to be alive, my friends.
Isn't that the truth? Wendy said, in terms of people being awake, she said, it's up to us to encourage the asleep that it's not as bad as it seems. And I think, Wendy, there's a lot of truth in that. There's many times that we've talked about on this channel where you wouldn't berate someone who is sick to get them well. You would come alongside them, you would shoulder up next to them, and you would lift them up. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that is exactly what needs to take place. And that's probably going to be accelerating here in the very near future.
Well, and I've never shared this on the show before, Sam, and I think now is probably an appropriate time. The lighthouse and the tugboat, and I learned this from a mentor of mine. In this time that we're living in, if you think about a tugboat, it's old, it's beat up, it's got tires all the way around it, it's got black smoke puffing out of the top, it pushes and drags and pulls and works really hard to get ships in and out of the harbor safely, right? And it goes through many engines throughout its life. It works really hard to force things. And a lighthouse simply stands on top of the cliff, and it shines its light on safe harbor, and it shines its light on the rocks. And if a ship is going to crash into the rocks, it doesn't jump down off of that cliff to save that ship. It simply shines its light where safe harbor is, and it shines its light on the cliffs. And I think it's all of our responsibility to be the lighthouses, not the tugboats. We're not going to push and pull and drag and get anybody to be able to believe one side of things or the other. But when they see that we're standing firm on our ground and we're shining our light in the right direction and shining brightly, they're going to step in and want to know more, right? And that's exactly what Sam talks about all the time. There's no I told you so's. It's stepping up alongside of our fellow man and shining light that everything's okay. It looks really, really bad right now, folks. The stock market's tanking and Orange Man bad and all of these things that are happening. But the reality is much different than the optics, right? The perception is reality. And so the more that we can stand firm and continue to be calm and come up alongside people in that manner versus pushing and pulling and tugging and wearing ourselves out emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, just stay calm. Doesn't matter what the news comes out and says. Give it the 72 hours because I again, something's coming and we're going to have to weather that storm.
Right. And I liken it to planting seeds. You can't force a seed to grow. You can plant the seed, you can water the seed, but the seed's going to grow of its own accord. And I think that is an analogy that we can use for people that are waking up. You can plant the seed, you can water the seed, but it's up to them to wake up and to get to a point where they start saying, maybe there is something to this. And, I'm guilty of it in my younger years, trying to give somebody a drink of water from a fire hose. And I've learned over the years that I don't really even say anything until I'm asked a question. I mean, I'll do my shows and what have you,
Right.
but until somebody comes to me and says, hey, Sam, what do you think about this? That's the open door. That's where you can accelerate the awakening process. What do you think, Dave?
No, I agree wholeheartedly. It's a learning process. You're not going to lead a horse to water. You're not going to force it to drink.
Right.
You gotta pace yourself for sure.
Right. James?
Well, one would have to ask, and I agree with everything that's been said on that topic, but one would have to ask, why would a man that has the kind of power that President Trump has, he's pointing us in the right direction. He's making a lot of things happen, but why would you want to continue any further than, past the limitation of 8 years or even 10 years for that matter? I mean, he should be able to enjoy life. And there's more to life than politics. He's got a family. He's got, granddaughters. His son. I think he's setting the pathway for great leadership in the future. And maybe it is going to be barren. Maybe it is something that's already written on the wall. He's been poised, talked about for future. I at some point you would wonder, why wouldn't you want to just enjoy life?
Well, because if he doesn't succeed, he's not going to have a life to enjoy. None of us will.
Well, he's succeeding, in my opinion.
But I'm not disagreeing with you at all, James. But how do you undo? The man's had 4 previous years, right? And then whatever has happened in the middle of that 4, and he's stepping into the next 4 in 8 years. Let's say he's the most wildly successful president in the history of presidents. I don't think 8 years is enough to undo 100 years of corruption, deceit, fiat currency, banking, military war machine. This is Sam says it all the time, a hydra. We might get 2 of the 8 heads in 2 turns. We don't know how that's going to play out. So that's my answer to your question. Why?
Well,
I like what Brad Rice says, because he was sent by God. That's good.
Yeah, I would agree that there is a spiritual component to everything that we're seeing here. I'm not one that belabors certain religious beliefs, but I am one that belabors spiritual life. And there is a awakening taking place that not only includes politics or our food, but it's a spiritual component. And that spiritual lens may be different for individuals. And I give them the freedom to, however they choose to approach it, is their business. I have my views, but I try not to speak too much on my views. I talk about spirituality because I think that's what's important. We are living in an age where our bodies communicate much more in ways that are outside of the 5 senses. Whether that's you call it an aura, or you call it life force, or you call it chi, or whatever it might be. But we all have that feeling inside of us, that gut instinct. And I think that's part of this whole process. So somebody who's not really aware of those things, it's going to take time for them to get to a point where they can accept that. And how quickly can that happen? I don't know. Outside of a catalyzing event, I would think it would take years. So to Alex's point, maybe it's going to take another 10, 15, 20 years. And when it comes to President Trump staying in office, one of the theories that I'd heard was that J.D. Vance can run for president in 2028 and win with Trump as the vice president. And then as soon as he wins, he resigns and Trump becomes president again. Now, I'm no constitutional scholar, but apparently there's some validity to that, and he can do that up to twice. So if that was the case, that would, I don't know, but
It's a stranger fiction.
right. But the fact that President Trump is coming out and saying he's considering a 3rd term and he's not joking, that's something I take pretty seriously. What do you think, James?
I 110 on that. 110. That is the gateway I can't necessarily see JD Vance stepping down, but if that's the key to the lock, by all means, let him turn it.
Alex?
We're just going to have to be patient.
I know it's hard too, but part of it is I like to have these discussions about it because I think at some level it prepares people for change. And I think as human beings, we as human beings do not like mystery. We will create stories and ideas and ideologies to make ourselves feel better, even though at a subconscious level we may know it's not true. And I think as human beings, we don't like mystery. So by throwing these different theories out there and, postulating what may or may not happen, I think that gives some comfort to people. I know it gives comfort to me so that I can think outside of the box. And I think that's really what we're talking about here is thinking outside of the box. We have been taught what to think and how to act for so long that now that we're breaking out of that matrix, people are learning a new skill. And that skill takes time to develop. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. No, when you're told something, you're like, and it opens up that wormhole or the way of thinking, you're like, I never thought of it that way. It really spurs on your thought process for sure. Yeah, I don't know age-wise and stuff for Trump. If it's necessary, I think he'll do it if we need to do it. But I would think everything would be, he had stuff pointed in the direction for the most part by the next 4 years, I would hope, or things in place. But like Alex said, 100 years of ripping out this root, it goes deep, and we know the fraud in every part of the government and what we've been paying for in all of the different government entities. It's the roots are deep, and it's going to take a while.
I agree.
Well, I mean, how monumentous is it that? How long's he been in? But not even his first 100 days. Okay, OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank 500 billion, Apple 500 billion, Nvidia hundreds of billions, TSMC 100 billion, Johnson & Johnson 55, Lilly 27, DMAC 20 billion, CMA GCM 20 billion plus 10,000 jobs, Merck 8 billion, Carlios 8 billion, Stellantis 5 billion, GE Aerospace 1 billion plus 5,000 jobs, Honda, Nissan, Prepack, Crazy Art, all global companies saying we're going to bring this business inside of the borders of the United States to do business. If the man did absolutely nothing else, that will set us on a trajectory. But there's so much more to the story, right? We just have to be patient because the train has left the station, but it's not up to speed yet.
Right. And like you said, bringing in the revenue is one thing, but straightening out the agriculture is another. Cleaning up the water and the air is another. There are so many facets to this that my guess is we're going to look back at this time, whether it's a year from now, 10 years, or 100 years from now, and we're going to see how all of those puzzle pieces fit together to make a beautiful tapestry. But again,
107 executive orders in 67 days. That's more than any president in history. And that's a lot of reading for us out there to go look at every one of those executive orders. Understand what they are, what they mean, what they say. Like, holy shit, folks. Like, the magnitude of what this man is doing in less than 100 days, and again, executive orders, he's a dictator. He's going to run for president. He's a dictator. What if he's just a patriot that wants to make sure that his grandchildren's grandchildren don't have to put up with the crap that's going on in this country for the last 50 years?
Exactly. Very well stated. Very well stated. Right. So, Scratch 65 said that money should stop us paying taxes in the United States. Well, again, that's where we're headed. We're talking about a slow roll. He said no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, which is passed now. Then he comes out and says no tax on anybody making $150,000 or less. It's all leading up to the abolishment of federal income tax, in my opinion. And I think that's the direction he's going.
Yeah.
But as we've said, you have to take it slow. I mean, James, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with everything that everybody's saying. You know, it's a guess. I know that what I feel like inside, you know, we each have our own hopes and desires. You know, we all bleed red. That's all. That's really all I can say about it. I mean, we can rival opinion all day long, but we're just going to have to wait. We'll see what happens. I just don't know.
Right. Valerie James said that the deficit needs to be paid off first. Well, I don't know that I agree with that, Valerie, and I'll tell you why. Does it need to be paid off, or does it need to be disposed of? I think there's a difference.
So our national debt is sitting at $36 trillion right now, but our total hidden wealth is 168. So what happens when we go back into the Fort Knox and we look at all the gold that has been, you know, valued at $42 an ounce by our government? That's what Gold Knox, that's what our government claims that per troy ounce that gold is worth. There's a reevaluation there that has to happen. So when you look at hidden wealth within the United States, what happens when, even if it just matches what the current gold price of $3,100 an ounce is today, what does that do to the wealth of the United States and the ability to offset GDP, wipe out the debt? He's mentioned multiple times that who he believes is responsible for what happened in 2020 and that they should be liable. You look at Arkansas, who's gone in, not Arkansas, Missouri, that's gone in and sued the People's Republic of China for things. China didn't show up, so they're reclaiming the land and the assets to offset the $24 billion lawsuit that they won. Like, there is so much going on. And so, yes, GDP and government and economics and the way that things work, we have to look at history, not what we've known for the last 75 years. Go back, look at tariff-backed economies. Look at what the economy and the government looked like for each and every citizen when we were not taxing, right? Taxation without representation. That's the whole reason that we even came to be what we came to be. So just be patient. Let's see where the cards land, because the hands are being dealt right now.
Right. And I understand everybody. It's frustrating, especially if you've been in this fight for any amount of time. You just want to see things happen. But it's not just seeing arrests or getting the deficit taken care of. Or there's so much more going on, like Alex said. There is so many machinations behind the scenes. There are so many issues that need to be dealt with. How about the fact that our Congress people are worth hundreds of millions of dollars on a $175,000 salary? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It's nefarious. It's fraudulent. It's just downright wrong. So you have to deal with these in chunks. I think a lot of this has already been dealt with behind the scenes, and they're rolling it out slowly. But it's a process. This Hydra is infiltrated America, well, the world, for, if not decades, hundreds of years. And it takes time. Like Alex has said before, can you eat an elephant? Most people say no. Well, yeah, the answer is you can, but it's one bite at a time. And it takes time to do that. So I think I know we're moving in the right direction. I see it everywhere I look. We have so much to be excited about. I'm just kind of on pins and needles waiting for April 2nd to come, because I don't know what to expect. And it's probably going to be nothing major. It's probably going to be tariffs, but we can hope that maybe something significant other than the tariffs is going to take place. But again, time will tell. So, all right, guys, well, let's wrap it up for today. I think we've, hey, Kim 55 is here. Hey, Kim, glad you could make it. We're going to wrap it up for today, and let's get some final thoughts. Dave, why don't you go first?
Excited. I mean, obviously the news is spurring up, maybe till April 2nd on Liberation Day, I believe. So let's see what happens. Excited for that date. Less than 48 hours.
Exactly. Oh, and everybody too. Wednesday, we will not be doing a morning live. We're going to be doing a 4 p.m. Pacific time live on this Wednesday, just so everybody's aware of it. Okay, James, what are your final thoughts?
Well, going forward, you talk about excitement. You see more input from people that have zero representation of politics pretty much their whole life, but they're speaking out now. I think the excitement is there. A lot of people know on both sides of the fence that we're going in the right direction. It's a pain. It can be painful. There's going to be some hurt feelings. There's going to be some pocketbooks that get drained, but we're going the right way. Just be patient. Breathe, get some sun, get some vitamin D, and thank God that we're going the right way.
Amen. Alex, before you give final thoughts, our Jeff Coat just said, Alex, just got your book, started it today. Excellent. In fact, why don't you tell everybody about that book, Alex?
It's linked in my profile. I am a meditation teacher, a mindset. Man, it's Monday. Susan, I can't speak. I'm a mindset coach. I found my gifts and my graces and embraced them. But the book is not a long read. It's more of a guide. And if you purchase if you purchase the book, you can go to my website, reach out to me that you have a copy of the book. I will do a 1-hour Saturday Zoom with you. We'll walk through the process once so that you understand kind of the flow of what the book is talking about. But if you have any questions, by all means, DM me. The link to the book is in the profile. You can buy it on Amazon. The Easy Road to a Peaceful Mind. Thanks, Sam.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Final thoughts for today?
If anybody wants a rabbit hole, FBI.gov, vault.fbi.gov. I mean, they just released Richard Pryor information, Operation Final Answer from back in '96. Take some time each day to be radically present. Some deep breaths. If that's, your morning coffee routine, enjoy what the coffee tastes like, smells like, listen to the birds and the wind chimes, and just take a little time for yourself each day, folks. It's good for your heart. It's good for your mental health. And your friends and family will thank you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Words of wisdom. So everybody, thank you for being on TikTok, Rumble, X, Facebook, YouTube. We're here every morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for all the input. This show wouldn't be possible without you. And I, for one, am just tickled pink that I get to share my beliefs and my thoughts with so many people and listen to what you guys think. That's just, it makes my day. So everybody, guys, Alex, Dave, James, thank you as always for being here. And everybody, we will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time on April Fool's Day. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something crazy from Alex in the beginning, but that's just preparing everybody.
It's not April Fool's Day yet, so we can say this one more time, and I'm going to need you to pause just a second so that you can clip this, Sam, and post this video. You ready? Don't forget, everybody, that if we get Sam to 250,000 followers on TikTok, he is going to go down to his local tattoo shop. I'm going to pay for him to get an American flag, and I'll shave my beard off.
Exactly. That's it, man. 250,000 followers on TikTok. Let's make it happen, everybody. I know. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for being here, guys. As always, thank you. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone.